Wow. What else can I say? Never underestimate the heart of a champion. The D Tigress. Unprecedented fifth AfroBasket title. They have become the first team in Africa to achieve such feat. Wow. What a story. Nigerian sportswomen are giving us premium inspiration. Premium, Just last week at about this time, I was here talking about the Super Falcons and how they achieved Mission X with an inspiring, motivational story. And today it is the turn of the D Tigress. The D Tigress, they've been through so much. Yes, they keep coming out of each struggle stronger. I remember when Coach Wakama was appointed. She joined the team June 30th, 2023. And right away, they went to the AfroBasket to Rwanda and they won it for a record first time. And then she went to the Olympics and got everybody talking about Nigeria. First team in Africa to reach the quarterfinals, male or female. And then she went on to win the coach of the tournament at the Olympics. Can you believe that? The level of consistency, the belief, the good show of determination, resilience. I can't stop talking about it, guys, that don't just watch a sports activity, Think about the process. Think about the values, the message that is in it. This D Tigress story. When I get into the action now, you'll see and understand everything that I'm talking about. But what a story. From 2023 till date, shout out to Coach Wakama for the stability she has brought to the team's play. She was the only female coach at the AfroBasket. And now she has made records. She's the first female head coach to win the AfroBasket title back to back. Nobody has done it before. So shout out to Coach Wakama. I did a video about her just to appreciate her before the final. Say, guys, everyone talks about the players, but what about the coach? And I said, shout out to Coach Wakama, and I'm glad she's going, back home with some glory on her crown. Yeah, the D Tigress, they have done it. Champions of Africa for a record fifth time in a row. And the question on the streets is, will President Bola Ahmed Tinubu give the same things that he gave to the Super Falcons when they accomplished Mission X to the D Tigress? And in case you're wondering, what sort of reward did the president give to the Super Falcons? Listen.
I hereby conferred on the players the 11-man technical team with national honor of officer. I hereby direct the allocation of 3-bedroom apartments to each of the players and technical crew in our Renew Hope Estate. In addition, there is a cash award of the Naira equivalent of 100,000 US dollars each.
Wow. Victory is sweet, no doubt, but I'm just wondering, where would the presidency, get more dollars? I'm just kidding. But I expect that they will give them the sort of rewards that will, make the girls happy, because the D Tigress, they haven't really received attention from the federal government. See, the Super Falcons had in the past, but that's why we're celebrating. In fact, I've called it milestone celebrations, because I think the Super Falcons had like 1 week of celebration, moving from the presidential villa to being hosted by different private organizations. They received cash prizes from different, corporate bodies, important personalities. People aren't wrong to expect the same thing for the D Tigress, you know. So I don't know how Shehu Diko and his team they will sell it to the presidency, but nobody should water down this achievement. It is massive, unprecedented. No team in Africa has accomplished what the D Tigress have accomplished on the continent talking basketball. So we'll wait to see what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do. Will he give them $100,000 each? Will he give them a house at the Renewed Hope Estate? Will they get national honors? It will be good if they get national honors also, you know, just to encourage them, because that would be the conversation. Oh, you did this for the Super Falcons and you cannot do this for the D Tigress. But I think that's the president's problem. Ours is just to celebrate this milestone win, fifth unprecedented title in a row in Africa. It is one that will definitely should, you know, push the development of basketball in Nigeria. I say I struggled to get into it because we haven't done so much in developing basketball in the country. And that's why I'm saying this sort of achievement should, you know, act as a wake-up call, a reflection time for us to have a look and say, look, we cannot be achieving all of this and our basketball isn't shining. The D Tigress. Where do we start from? I don't just want to jump into that final game. Let's look at their journey from when they got to the AfroBasket. I said it that, look, this team, they had the history in front of them, and they were so confident about it that they would get in there and show class, and that's what they did in their opening game against Rwanda. Somebody will say, oh, it's Rwanda. If you follow basketball in Africa, Rwanda, they're doing so much with their basketball. They are pretty decent. The D Tigress gave Rwanda a blowout result in that opening Group D match. And from that match, I said it on my live TV show that, look, they've started and they're not going to stop. Next game, it was a big test, but they showed quality against Mozambique. They won it by 5 points, but how did they win it? They showed resilience. They showed that, look, champions are not defined by perfect stats, guys. They are defined by how they respond. Champions are not defined by perfect stats. How do you pick up? How do you get back up when you fall? That's how champions are, you know, are defined. And they showed it in that match against Mozambique. Shout out to Mozambique. And each time they play Nigeria, call it negativity play or call it any type of push, they come with a bit of strategy. But the way the D Tigress turned it around shows the heart of a champion. You never underestimate it. And then they went on quarterfinals against Cameroon, and it was a blowout result. Blowout, I think 36 points difference. You know, don't play. You know, they just go there and prove that, look, we are champions. We're not here to joke. We know we are the team to beat. They were probably waiting for Senegal or Mali, but they just got the job done against Cameroon. And look, when you're going to play in the semis, that's the sort of result you want from the quarterfinals, because you're as good as your last game. And that's what your next opponent is going to look at. So they had something to feed on, you know, from the quarterfinals. Senegal would have gone to watch that game against Cameroon and start wondering how they're going to do it. And against Senegal, we knew it was going to be a tough one. Arguably, Senegal on a good day should be winning the AfroBasket, if not for the D Tigress. But the D Tigress, they have the number of Senegal. They just dial it and make it look so easy. So in that semi-final game, guys, you know, there was no point. People say, oh, they were bothered. No, there was no point. I was bothered. I just know they will get the job done, you know. It was a fantastic display by the Senegalese team, leading the way they took the lead in the third quarter and how they sustained the momentum till about 5 minutes in the final quarter when the D Tigress said, no, not under our watch, you know. Shout out to Sierra Dillard and Yacine Diop. They gave arguably everything, particularly Sierra and the way she played, you know. She gave practically everything that she could give, from the 3 pointers to the layups to the rebounds. I think it was a pretty good, decent Senegalese display. They got back into it pretty good. The D Tigers took the lead into the break, but when they got back, Senegal took control of the game. And that's the sort of test that champions want, just so they won't think that every time they come, they just have it easy. They need to fight, they need to dig deep. And that's the inspiration this D Tigers team, they're trying to tell us that achieving success sometimes looks easy, but to sustain the success is the real work. And that's what they're showing us by winning an incredible, unbelievable, remarkable fifth AfroBasket title in a row. In a row, guys. Stop playing. So when they did that magic against Senegal, about 2 minutes to the end of it, Senegal was still leading by a point. Ezine Kalu had a good steal and gave us a lovely layup. And from there, the D Tigers, never looked back and they went on to win. Champion stuff. You test their mentality, test their strength and their character, and they respond. It's just how you respond, guys. That's the message this D Tigers team, they're telling us. There's just something about the character of this team. Listen to Coach Reina and Elizabeth Balogun right after the win against Cameroon. The way they were talking, you can tell they already had their eyes on the prize. Listen.
It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game. Obviously, it may be emotional for some, but us is basketball. We know exactly what we're on a mission for, and we're not going to let the name on the front of the jersey change our mission or why we're here. So it's going to be a great game, very physical, very emotional probably as well.
Play Nigerian basketball. The only basketball we know how to play. Aggressive, tough, physical, Nigerian basketball. That's all we need to play, and we'll have a great chance to win.
What else can I say? The mentality, the winning mentality. We play Nigerian basketball. We're here to win. We don't make mistakes. I listened to Coach Reina saying to our team that, look, win me the game from the third quarter. It's business-minded, team that she's got. She said, look, just win the game for me in the third quarter and then go have some fun in the fourth quarter. It is what it is. The D Tigers, at the moment, no team comes close to them. I said it before this competition started. If you're following me on my socials, I said all of them will collect. All these African teams, when they come face the D Tigers, they're going to... Because I saw the last edition in Rwanda. Senegal, they were playing arguably their best basketball, but they couldn't beat the D Tigers. They lost by 10 points in that final game. That was the best I've seen of the Senegalese team in the last 10 years. And the D Tigers made light work of them. But for someone to feel that Senegal gave up, no, this D Tigers team at the moment, they're invincible. It's very difficult to beat that team. Their level of resilience should be studied. Premium inspiration that they give to the world. How to pick yourself back up when you're down. Senegal thought they were going to win that game. No, but the D Tigers, they fought till the end. They wanted to prove a point before getting to the final. Let Mali know that if you want to beat us, you should come prepared, because when we fall, we'll get back up. Let that inspire you. Final game. With what Mali did against South Sudan, I knew that was the sort of performance they need to give before meeting Nigeria. And they did. Shout out to South Sudan. They gave a good account of themselves. Went on to beat Senegal to win bronze. First ever appearance. Guys, it tells you that it is what you sow, you reap. The level of investment South Sudan they've done to their basketball, that's the reward right there, And side by side, you don't want to put your money on South Sudan to beat Mali. But with what they did at the AfroBasket this year, they're definitely a team that is on the rise. They're a team that has got good prospects. They're growing and they're showing it on the court. So shout out to South Sudan. So Mali went on to win that one. It was a very good game for the Malians. They started so well. I think they were leading at some points with about 25, 26 points, and they never looked back. They knew that they needed to be in that mood, that sort of mindset to play Nigeria in the final, because Nigeria had already qualified. Nigeria played the first semi-final game against Senegal before Mali took to the court to play South Sudan. So they knew Nigeria was in the final. They needed to get pumped up. And oh yes, they did play fine basketball. The final came. Nigeria, Mali. Guys, be inspired. Don't just see like one basketball game. From the tip off, see the approach. It gets to tell you that the sort of foundation you give any project, the sort of work you put into whatever you're chasing will determine the outcome. From the tip off, the D Tigress, they showed that look, we're here to create history and you cannot stop us, Mali. No, you cannot do that. And the Malians, they were like, look, because if you go back in the day, I think 2013, 2015, 2013, 2014, the last time they met in the final was in 2021. Nigeria won definitely. But 2012, 2013, 2014, no, Mali used to have the edge over Nigeria. But that's in the past. But this current D Tigress team, they're not going to let it happen. Mali played good. In the first quarter, I must confess, they did so well and they went on to win the first quarter 26-21. And if you see the way Coach Rena Wakama was speaking to Elizabeth Balogun, she didn't like their results because sometimes in basketball, how you start matters. I love the third quarter. For me, if you win the third quarter big time, it will, give you that push you need to get into the final quarter and just wrap it up. But basketballers and basketball coaches will tell you win all the quarters. So Mali won the first quarter, 26-21. Sika Kone, shout out to her. She was on fire. She did practically everything for Mali in this final game. Wrapped up with 16 points and I think 13 rebounds, but it wasn't just good enough because when you're playing this D Tigress team with their winning mentality, with their drive, their push, their tenacity, their resilience, the determination, their commitment to the game, how they play as a team, you need to be 10 times better than them to beat this current D Tigress team. And the second quarter, the D Tigress needed to get into it. It was point for point. It was that sort of game that the D Tigress scored, the Malians are picking it back to cancel it. So the game in the second quarter ended 20-15 in favor of the D Tigress. So at 20-15, you could tell that the D Tigress only did just enough to get back into the game before halftime. So at halftime, it was tied 41-41. Fantastic game of basketball. That was the sort of final we wanted to see. Yes, good show from Ezine Kalu, Amy Okonkwo, Victoria Macaulay, Promise Amu Kamara at some point had our own moments in the game. But I want to give a shout out to Mojanatu Musa. What a player. And I spoke to her right after the Olympics in Paris. And I told her that her game is improving. And you can tell, you can see it. She comes out big for the team, pops up when nobody is there, doors are still so clean. And when you list the spreads, she's going up the basket, forward-thinking player. I was so proud of Mojana too. She was that missing piece when there is no Amy or no Ezine, Promise or Victoria. It is Mojana too that is stepping up. And why do I big up Mojana too a lot? She's a clear testament that if we invest in our homegrown basketball, because she's the product of the league. She's a product that was discovered back home in Nigeria. So that little story, that little light that is shining now, the MBBF, look at Mojana today. There's also Funaya Okoro who is doing so well too. She's also an homegrown talent. But we need more. We need more, and I just want to say I appreciate everything Mojana did in this final game because she stepped up. When she was fouled out in the game against Senegal, I could see how disappointed she was. And it showed a bit because we were lacking in terms of those free balls. Who's going to be there to pick it? Who's going into space to push out the guard of the opponents? And then so someone can have a drive in. Mojana was doing all of those jobs. So I'm so proud of her. Shout out to Mojana. She was big in that second quarter. I think made about 7 or 8 points, which was very, very important for the team. 41-41 tied at halftime. When the third quarter started, Amy got on fire. I mean, she was unstoppable. She opened up with a lovely three-pointer, and then Kalu jumped up and was just, she took it over from Amy. I'm like, If it's not Amy, it is Kalu. When it's not, isn't it Kalu? Victoria is stepping up. Promise Amu Kamara with her drives in. She's such an offensive-minded player. I love her so much. The D Tigress did just enough. Pushed again. Got the same scoreline from the second quarter, 20-15. And at the end of the third quarter, it was 61 to Nigeria and 56 to Mali. That's no scoreline in basketball. 2 3-pointers, then you are out, So they knew they needed to come out stronger in the fourth quarter. And it was in the fourth quarter that the D Tigers actually won this fifth title against Mali. It was 17 to 8 points in the final quarter, and that wrapped it up 78 to 64. Fantastic show by the D Tigers. Unbelievable display. What a story. This is the type of story I enjoy talking about. You know me. When it's one that will tell us, look, don't quit. When it's one that will tell you the need to stay consistent when you're winning. Don't just drop the balls. You need to keep doing those things that you know you need to do to stay relevant. That's what the Tigers are doing, because they had record in front of them. They knew that they are the team to beat in women's basketball in Africa. Mali wants to beat them so bad. Senegal wants to beat Nigeria. Rwanda wants to beat Nigeria. Even Cameroon. But they do not have the quality of this D Tigers team. Some will say, most of the talents, they're back in the States or in Europe, but they're Nigerians and they're proud to represent the motherland. I love it so much. So fifth consecutive title for Nigeria, the AfroBasket. Amy Okonkwo, back-to-back most valuable player. That's another player that I admire so much. We call her the smiling assassin. She will be smiling as she's doing her thing, When she stepped out today, she came out so strong at some point in the game, when she needed to, do one for the team. That's Captain Fantastic, leading by example. She was MVP, fantastic for Nigeria. She made 19 points in this final game. Izinekalu was right behind her. Izinekalu made 20 points. So maybe they've given Izinekalu the player of the match, but I think basketball, they don't count it that way. Amy was big right there, and she got it. Coach Reina, I told you, coach of the tournament. Amy, most valuable player. D Tigress for the title. Nigeria just showing everybody how to get it done. This is such an inspiring story, and I hope that you will learn something from it, because it just goes to tell you that impossible is nothing, and that when you put your mind to it, whatever you want to win, you're definitely going to win. And most importantly, it says don't quit, You can't quit, because it's easy to just say, I've won it 4 times. This is the 5th one. Whether or not I win it, I'll just let it go. No, don't quit. Keep pushing, because it's so sweet. And most importantly, for those people out there who want to, underrate you or see you as a failure, let them know that you never underestimate the heart of a champion. I'll see you around again. Congratulations, D Tigress. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll come back because we've got the CHAN and so much happening in our world of sports. That's it.